Man,
Do we have the story?
I was just banging you guys some story. So man, I tell you about this babe. So I was supposed to buy like out because she uses Wi-Fi. I think at her parents' home or something like that. So I think she was telling me her data is getting done and the Wi-Fi had not been subscribed yet. So I told her this is after I had traveled and come back from some work I was doing. So I had some kadaim. So I tell her when your data gets finished, let me know. I'll send you some what?
Some
Dimes. So that was like last week on Thursday. This babe has not yet asked me for data. You get? So I wait. So like yesterday, I tell her, "Okay, you're not asking me for the data. What? Somebody, I promised you some money." She's like, man, what? Actually, my parents bought I subscribed for the Wi-Fi. So I didn't need to ask you for money. It would extremely be unfair. So you guys can tell why I was on a video call that long before the podcast started.
Well. Someone must be smitten or something. But welcome to the Fat Cats Rugby podcast. Yeah, that's a glimpse of what happens off air before we come and give you the rugby. And perhaps we'll have a lot more stories like that. My name is Ruben Kihumuro. With me here, as usual, Dungu Joseph, back from his trip, as he said. I'd like to call him part of the Fat Cats family, though he comes every once in a while. We've had fans who say they missed you. That is why you're back, Mr. Nkunda Caesar.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
And today we have a very important guest, a lady in our midst, Madam Sarah Nabahi. Have I pronounced it well?
I can pronounce it.
Nahabi. Yeah. Oh, sorry, I said it the other way around. Do you know pronounce it?
Sarah Nahabi.
That's
correct. That's about correct.
Nahabi. This guy. Yeah. What does it mean? Sounds like a name that means like, man, I love you or something. Yeah?
The blessed one.
The blessed one.
It's a Samia name. Nahabi in Samia means blessings.
Okay.
So it's Nahabi, the blessed one.
Oh, okay. That's very, very interesting. We'll come back to that. Caesar, where have you been hiding? What have you been up to? Happy New Year, Merry Christmas. I don't know. Should we also tell you Happy Valentine's even before?
No. First wait to that Valentine's plan. You might jinx it. Well, I've been around really. Just work, home, the farm, KOBS. Yeah. I'm back now.
I've been seeing a lot of workout videos. I don't know. Is there a beach party that I don't know about?
No.
We didn't get the memo.
I made a bet with Aredo and Makalama and I have to achieve it. That's why I'm working out.
Okay, that's very, very interesting. You've been telling us you're working out. I'm not seeing any changes, but
guys,
how's that
these
going
are things that are supposed to remain undercover. I don't know why guys have burst my secret. Now I'm on pressure to really show the results. But guys, at the start of this year, we talked about being in a good mood, having good vibes, being healthy, 2023 being happy. So I didn't want to contend for fattest cat this year. I wanted to leave it to either you or Edwin. So,
but if you lose your stature as a fat person, you lose your place on the Fat Cats podcast. We'll take you in the back end. You'll just be probably bringing the water and stuff.
But Ruben, you're unusually smart today. You had a date earlier? I promise no throwing shade.
Oh, it's how with you.
The shirt is soft and nice.
But anyway, we'd like to thank all of you guys for always being a part of this podcast, watching on our YouTube, also listening on our various audio platforms, and also following us on social media. Last week we had Eddie Chiwanokia here talking about Heathens and everything that was happening within Heathens. We also talked about banter a little bit. And maybe before we really get into a gist of what we're going to talk about today, Sarah, we'd like to just get to know a little bit about you. We know you're from Busia. We know what your name means, the blessed one. But tell us a little bit about you, a little bit of how you got into rugby circles and who you are affiliated with.
Like already said, my name is Sarah Nahabi Elizabeth.
Queen Elizabeth
yes,
Nahabi.
Yes. Like you know, I'm a rugby fan.
Yeah.
I'm a mother. I'm a wife. I love rugby. I came to rugby in 2014. Eddie actually introduced me to rugby.
Oh, okay.
First of all, I grew up in the quarters, in the car quarters, like many of the other rugby players.
Okay.
But one thing that hits everyone is that I never used to come to the rugby club very often. And my brothers were playing rugby, my friends were playing rugby, my neighbors, and all the other kids that had actually grown up in the quarters were playing rugby. But I never used to come to the pitch. So until 2014 is when I had that liberty to move wherever I would want to go. Then I come to the club. That time I would leave work, come to the club, drink around. Then I met Eddie.
Yeah.
With all his vibe, he kept on saying, "Go work at rugby." You know, then I'm like, I see people around here, people are so many. When I'm going to town, I see the pitch is so crowded. But over time, he just invited me and said, come, watch a game. You'll keep knowing the dynamics here and there. Get to know this happens like this, acquaint with people, know a few people around rugby. And of course, with the circles from the quarters, then I was already comfortable in the space. So that's how I came into rugby. And over time, I learned the sport. I fell in love with it to an extent that it actually gives me pressure. So I really, really love rugby from that point on.
That's very interesting to know.
I want to compliment Sarah. She's really smart, Sarah. What's the whole vibe around your fashion sense? Why do you decide to dress like you do? Because I mean, you are really smart, and we appreciate that you are very open to coming to our podcast.
Yeah, I love being smart. First of all, in all aspects. I love being street smart. I love being brain smart. I love being physical smart. Basically, smart could be my other name. So I love smartness all the way.
Smart,
Yeah.
Elizabeth Nahabi.
Yeah. You could call me.
Anyway, before we get into any of that other jazz, very, very interesting weekend coming up, and the build-up to it hasn't also disappointed us. We have seen, though on the men's side it has been a bit quiet, KOBS and Heathens are all quiet, no banter this week. Guys are fearing each other, but for the ladies, they are going hard. The two biggest teams in the country, Avengers and the Black Pearls, have been going at it online, and they have promised that even on ground it's going to be as hot. Caesar, what are your thoughts on the start of the women's season this weekend, and in particular that game which will be in Entebbe?
Okay, if I'm not mistaken, correct me if I'm wrong, that was the final of Uganda Cup? Oh, yeah. And I had not paid close attention to women's rugby. But then Union did something very special. They put the women's game in between the two games, and so we had to watch it in Entebbe. So I can tell you, I was shocked. I enjoyed that game a lot. I enjoyed that game more than I enjoyed the Shield Uganda Cup final. I enjoyed the women's game, and from that onwards, then social media shows you they were at it this week, and well, then there was you hosted Peace, I think, Lekuru, yeah, Emily Lekuru, and then there was that whole saga. Someone was dropped, and then took my attention. So then I wanted to come and say, who is this person who was dropped that is causing Kavuyo? And then I enjoyed myself. So for me, women's rugby is getting better. I want to believe it's getting better, but I also want to believe it has minimal. I saw on the list there are only 4 women's clubs. KOBS is starting up with the Panthers, I think, and hopefully they can all come up, and then we have 3 games every game. We have 3 games every weekend. But me, I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful it comes up. I am going to be at Legends to watch the game. So there's a women's game at midday.
It's the Panthers are hosting.
Yes.
They're hosting Thunderbirds.
No.
They're hosting
Use. There's a team called Use. I can't.
And I don't know why everyone has their own pronunciation. Caesar, how do you pronounce it?
It's a U.
It's a U.
It's a U.
But I hear guys saying Iwis.
I promise you guys, I'll never pronounce that team.
So I want to know.
I'll never pronounce that name. I'll never.
I want to know.
Please pronounce. Help
I
us.
want to know
I'll
that
not
U
attempt.
team. That U team. Is it from Rams?
Yeah, that is Rams'
okay.
women's team.
No, I don't know why our team is not in the maybe they haven't yet reached the quota.
The last time I
To get
checked,
there.
the girls in your team looked like they were a bit underage. I don't know if they
They're
had-
young, but man, there are many these days. Oh, I'm so excited about that team. There are many. Then Sema is coaching them with Victor. Oh my God, I can't wait. Anyway, let's go back.
I like seeing Caesar excited. Nahabi,
So-
what do you make of Caesar already? Just onset. If you look at Caesar, what do you think?
I think he's this person that we actually need in the circle
Ah.
because we need more people that are very passionate about women's rugby, because then is when we are going to have the women's game elevate on the higher note. Because when you see the men, they're getting to the men's games more than the women's games. So when I see he's passionate about it and he's speaking with a lot of enthusiasm, I pick the vibe of this person that we can ride on to have
My
games.
biggest issue about women's rugby, and I'm speaking because I watch all my clubs. I'm a KOBS fan. I always had an issue with how like the girls were few, but they were very committed and they weren't being coached because our coach was very busy doing schools and stuff. So, but then all of a sudden my club saw it fitting that when KOBS and Box are training, the girls should join in. Oh my God. There's a training session where the girls are more than the boys. Monday at Cricket Oval, the girls are more than the boys. And it's amazing, and the girls want it. They have desire. So I'm going to pay close attention to women's rugby this season. I want to see.
Anyway, talking about the season opener for the ladies, Sarah, what are your thoughts on the preparation and what the women have been doing building up into this particular weekend?
I think the women are actually ready for the games. I see all the clubs are really focusing on the season, and the training is actually happening. The girls are actually coming out for training, although some clubs are really crippling because of issues here and there, and I know we'll delve in them a little later. But I think the clubs are ready and they're willing to take on the season.
The Thunderbirds are affiliated to the Kyadondo setup where you support, where you subscribe to, I should say. Maybe just to throw this out there, have you kept any tabs on any preparations, any new signings, anything happening, anything we should expect from them this particular season?
Yeah, we at Thunderbirds actually we have new girls coming on board. We've had to sign up a few girls from here and there because many of our girls are a bit committed to either work or family. Others are being transferred to workplaces that they cannot make up to training. So the burden has now been on making numbers, and we've signed up a few girls from here and there. We've had to get girls actually from our country and then give them a few basics here and there, like accommodation, feeding, a number of things to make sure that we actually have the team. So Thunderbirds is actually in preps and in high gear to start the season.
Okay, that's great. Joseph.
Sarah, everyone is talking positively. I want to know what things annoy you about women's rugby. What are you mad about?
Women are very dynamic.
Not even women generally, but generally the sport of women's rugby in Uganda. What's annoying you at the moment?
I'll speak it on at the end of like the administration of the administrative part, starting from the union, the club, and the girls themselves. Let me start with the girls. The ladies love the sport, but when they come to the sport, I think there are a number of things that distract them, and all of a sudden they
Many shorts.
Yeah. They're in the shorts, and then someone is watching them. Some of them have hips, others have, these juicy ties. Someone is watching them from the pitch, and after pitch, they are being confused, given money, given alcohol. Before you know it, 3 months later, the girl is not on the pitch anymore. Yeah. So that distraction is also there. But also, the focus. I think we need a lot of sensitization and giving these women a lot of understanding and education, for them to understand that when you delve into the sport, what do you want? What has brought you to the sport? Are you there for a short period of time? Are you there for some reason? Are you there for any material gains? Or are you there because you want to develop a talent and, grow the sport? So you find that girls are there, they're not there. They're there, they're not there. That's why we don't have many girls sign up even for international buyouts. Like Kenya would come to Uganda and say, we spotted this girl. we really want to have her on our team. Who do we approach? What club do we need to
All the
approach
girls
with?
are disorganized.
Not disorganized.
Like
but-
guys disorganize them. I mean,
Yes, they really disorganize them. So and
so a
not
message to
only-
the
not
guys
only-
disorganizing the
not only
girls.
not only the guys, many things distract them.
Yeah.
Yeah, so a message to the guys, please leave the girls to play. Let them come and develop their talent. They are there to play, they are there to enjoy their sport. And, let other things come in later. And when they come to the sport, please encourage them to stay in the sport, even in as much as you want to make them, your better halves or someone you want to live your life, your entire life with. But encourage them to stay in the sport.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. But before we continue with women's rugby, I think everyone here is just absorbing the nature that's going around, and you can hear the birds, you can hear everything, and that is just all what the Fred and Winnie B&B is about. It's about the sanctity, the peace of being around here. If you just want to have a getaway, if you want to have space where your family members can visiting can come and have a stay. I mean, there are 10 bedrooms available for you here. And
right.
on top of the 10 rooms available, you have a fully equipped kitchen, you have a power backup system, Wi-Fi, laundry, a chef to cater to you every meal, a sumptuous buffet, there's breakfast and lots of other things to offer, but there's also pick up and drop off to and from Entebbe International Airport. And if you want to travel around Kampala or even up country, that can be arranged. But for that, you have to book by calling the number 0778 933 559. And tell them that a Fat Cat sent you for amazing discounts in 2023, especially with Valentine's coming up. You should be making your bookings
Guys,
right now.
book us
Don't
out,
do
man.
those. Ugandans are so used to last-minute booking things.
Yes.
For once, be organized, man.
And we are very affordable, actually. Our
Yeah.
rates are crazy, man. Fat Cat Podcast is bringing everything right at your step.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, so jumping back into what you guys have been talking about, yes, there has been that distraction. Sometimes you could say in some instances. How are the leaders in the game? Take for instance the coaches, the team managers. What are they doing to sensitize these girls to keep their heads focused and not focus on the nightlife of rugby all the time, not focus on the sweet words that are being whispered? Don't you think that they have a part to play in this particular trajectory for the ladies?
Absolutely. I think starting from the clubs, the club managers, the team managers, the coaches, the senior players in the sport need to come out and actually sensitize these girls for them to really understand why they are there. But also looking at the incentives. Some girls look at the incentives that are coming through and they're like, okay, I'm playing this sport probably for talent development, but what am I getting out of it? There are things we've had discussions over. We're saying, okay, if a player is playing for Thunderbirds at Kyadondo, what incentive does it come with? If probably they don't have a job, can Kyadondo employ them? If they don't have a job, do the funds that ride on the sport come out to give them opportunities? And if they don't have those opportunities or they don't have the qualifications to get the jobs, have we given them some kind of skills training that actually can help them, find something to do for themselves? Say, for instance, hands-on skills, brain skills where, you can just get onto your phone and do something and, get money out of it. So there's a big gap on the sensitization part.
Yeah.
And that cuts across with other players, even the men's side and the women's side.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. I think one of the things that we should leverage on as rugby in Uganda, not even just the women, but in general, is the fact that we are still amateur. The best way that we can give many of these players values through the networks they create. We have a lot of distinguished leaders, CEOs, business owners in our communities. How can they be able to maybe entrust some of these people, or maybe equip some of these people with the skills to be able to make better lives of themselves aside from playing rugby? But one of the things that has been going on social media has been many ladies complaining about the fact that that women's rugby is always in the shadows, and in particular this week that they have a season opener, and the season opener is happening when there is Lions Cup, KOBS versus Heathens, the biggest rugby game in the land. And to make it worse, the Lions Cup is at Legends, and the ladies are starting their game in Entebbe. So around the same time. So it's pretty much they have to fight for eyeballs, they have to fight for attention, they have to fight for media. I feel like Caesar had talked about the Uganda Cup final, where the women's final was played at the same venue with the men's.
Yeah.
Why, for such a season opener, such a big game where we want people to get to know more about women's rugby, did they bring Avengers versus Black Pearls also to be played at Legends as perhaps a curtain raiser? Or even, if we are trying to be dynamic, have the Lions Cup be a curtain raiser for the women? I mean, those are two big games. We have talked about marketability of women's rugby. We have talked about media coverage, and they feel to a certain extent they have been left behind. I want to start with you, Caesar, on this. What are your thoughts on coverage for the women, marketability, and all, with the season coming up and Lions Cup also around the corner?
Me, I would think, first and foremost, changing the game from Busamaga to Legends might have its different dynamics. Avengers is from Entebbe, right?
Yes.
So it will be their chance to enjoy the home crowd advantage. So not to take that away. There was a discussion even online with two very influential ladies in women's rugby, and they were having a discourse about it. And then, for me, what I think should be done, as a matter of fact, we have NBS. I know NBS also has to. Once marketability, I want to believe everywhere there's a women's game is where the game should be screened. NBS should be. I wanted very much that such a big game of women's rugby, NBS would have rather gone to Entebbe, and because at the end of the day, yes, Lions Cup is Lions Cup. It's the most important game in the league.
People will actually be there. They don't plan to miss it.
People will actually be there. Whether of course, NBS also wants to show the biggest games for the commercial
But it
side.
would be something they're giving back.
If they're here to give back to rugby, if they're here to give back to the sport and develop it, women's rugby needs this coverage more. It really does.
I agree with
it really
Caesar.
does. And Ruben has brought out something that I've never thought about it now. How about on an Elgon Cup match, the game of the men is at 2, and the women's game is at 4.
Because
But you guys, okay,
not.
guys.
People will come
People
early
will watch it.
to watch the men,
The men,
and they will
and
not
they'll
leave
stay there.
afterwards.
Yeah.
They will watch
And
the
after,
women.
and trust me, after, I am telling you, I'm one of them. I didn't know so much about women's rugby. Even when I'll be at Kings Park and the Pals are playing, I'll not pay attention. I'll first go and eat something, waiting for the important game. But that final, I said, you know what, I'm here. There's nothing to do.
Caesar.
Let me sit down and watch this match.
Caesar.
And I really enjoyed that game. And I want to watch more. You get? So we have to make drastic decisions because we are not yet there, men's side, but we are somewhere. Guys will watch games. How about the women who need the marketability? So me, I think, whatever the union is doing, whatever we as clubs are doing, we should concentrate more on marketability, should concentrate more on the women's side. And I'm telling you, women in this country are the most influential beings. They watch themselves play, they will tell their kids, we go to Legends and watch these girls. And they will wait to watch the other games. But if they don't know this, and NBS will go a long way. Something small before Dungu comes in, we were talking about how we can improve the mindset of the women. Most of these girls can be moved. Like boys were handled. Things like education. Things like it's something small. Let's say the girls in Naguru in KOBS, maybe they're in Kololo. Kololo doesn't demand a lot of money. And we don't have very many. If a club can take up the education, all the members, all the fans, or anyone can take up the education. Things like sanitary pads or towels. Like a girl knows I'm going to die for because man, when I need them, small things. How much is a sanitary towel? But if they know that at the time of the month I can go to my club and it's readily available, get a lady if it's sensitive, get a lady in that club or who can handle that situation. And small things that people might undermine, but my God, they will move. We did something giving out food in COVID. I will always bring this example. And I asked Justin to take food to some players at their homes. And their parents changed their mindset from this this rough game to, hey, you mean your club can do this even in the time
Think about
you get? Then they start thinking, then they start saying, you can go push curfew to 8 p.m. because training ends at 7. Before you know it, a sport. So small things people might not notice, but they'll help the sport.
I agree.
Yeah, Joseph, you had some thoughts you wanted to share.
Man, when you guys actually don't give me a chance to speak, then
Then
my thoughts are distorted. I promise. I promise. But yeah, it's part of learning how to be part of such amazing people that you have to hold on
Are
to
you
your
thinking
thoughts.
about your new girl?
we can put her on.
Are you
Guys,
blushing?
let me now let me tell you guys, yeah. Ruben, man, this will seem so callous, too much Ruben, but let me keep calm and be easy. Man, I want to ask Sarah something. Sarah,
Yeah.
who is that one rugby player, a female rugby player that you feel does not get the attention she deserves, and you believe they've played so much, so well, they are probably bubbling under, and yeah, in your eyes, they are someone that actually deserves so much recognition?
None of those that would come to my mind immediately, but I think there are so many. There's so many, and I wouldn't say this one because each of them has a need. Each of them has a need that actually needs much attention. So I wouldn't say this particular one or the other particular one, but we've had rugby players who have actually given their heads online for the country and for the club. So I wouldn't really say this one or the other one, but each of them actually has a need that needs urgent attention.
Okay, Sarah, where do you see women's rugby in the next 2-3 years in Uganda?
I don't want to say I have a prospect or I have a shade of what I see ahead before we really cover the mishaps that are happening behind here.
Yeah.
Because if we don't put some of the things right,
Yeah.
I don't want to say I see it somewhere ahead, even 2 years or 3 years.
Mm.
So some of the things I really want to mention clearly, we've actually been discussing. Media visibility.
Yeah.
Because if we don't give these ladies media visibility, then who is going to see them? Who is going to look out for them? That media visibility is very important. Things like on game day, like what you were saying, if we put a women's game as, a major game of the day,
Yes.
and then have the other lion game
Yes.
as the curtain riser, that would be something. Everyone will look out for the game and say, you know what, why did they have to put the KOBS Heathens, first and then the other game last? Because it's the peak game. Then everyone would like, let me go and watch the women's game. Maybe there's
They'll
something
pick
to
interest.
eat. Yeah, there's something to eat that we don't know that we need to look out for.
Yeah.
Then, of course, things to do with, call up some girls, ask them, even the fans, what do you expect? Even players, how are your preps? How are you prepared for the game? What have you done extra that you think you're going to win about this game? The banter itself. Because we are not seeing so much banter on social media about women's game.
Yeah.
Except for the games that were the internationals that we had in Wankulukoko. Those
Yeah.
ones, at least, there was, to some extent, they were hyped up.
And you saw
But-
what happened
yes,
to
and
them
we
when
saw
they
what
were
happened.
hyped.
Because
So
there
that-
was money. There was money.
Exactly. And that's another point. We need sponsors to come on board for the women.
Yeah.
Because no one is looking out for sponsors for the women. But do you know that there are women organizations that
That are
actually
ready.
support
You guys know there is a
women
lot
in
happening about
sport?
climate change, and people are trying to release so much money into climate change. So we can use women in sport
Yeah,
as a justification about climate change. I mean,
exactly.
because they're using domestic violence to justify climate change.
Exactly.
So why not rugby? Maybe we should start thinking around that.
We need people to really look out for women's sponsorship so that people can come on board and support the women. I know there are organizations that are passionate about the girl child, and if we got people who actually tap into that opportunity, I mean, women's rugby would be enough. Because again, it is issues to do with their allowances, their welfare. Because some of them want to play the sport and they're like, okay, I come from Mukono, I have to come to Kyadondo, train with my club 3 times a week or twice a week. I have to do some other physique, I need to go to the gym. But who's giving me that money to do all that?
Yes.
So you find that those needs are actually derailing or pulling down the sport.
Ruben, I want you to ask Sarah about the culture at Kyadondo. You see, we've seen funds transfer, and Ruben is actually one of the fans that have shifted from their club to support another club.
Yeah.
But
Yes, and he said it
Is
online.
frowning?
He left
Ask him.
Warriors and went
He's
to
here and
Pirates.
see his blush. He's actually guilty.
On
So
air.
I've seen Sarah from the time I started watching rugby.
Rugby chill Nigos. Iwanang.
By the way, but she's a mom, so we can't.
We're sorry.
Definitely, but you've seen Nyegos happening at Kings Park. What's your take on Nyegos and all these youths partaking?
Because it's taking our
what
fans
comes to your
away,
mind?
man.
I think it's just the moment.
It's okay.
It's
kawaii, eh?
It's the fun because after the game, whether you've lost or
That's
won,
like
you know,
three
there's beer, there's music, so the Nigos comes in.
You see, when you guys lost the opener against Pirates,
Yeah.
and one of the fans seen wearing a Heathens jersey was
Attacked.
not
I've
attacked.
seen.
I think she was serving. I don't want to. She was serving Nyegos to.
Let's change topic. Because
Sawa.
we
But
want
anyway,
you.
this is crazy. But my point here was, I want you to tell us about the culture at Kyadondo. What is it like to be associated or to feel at home? Just tell us, because Ruben here, grown up, he was supposed to support KOBS, but he didn't. He played and supports Warriors, but just this season, he says the Pirates and Impis fan.
Okay. There's something at Kyadondo that I've always heard from fans, not even only fans, but the customers that come to Kyadondo.
Yes.
There are a few things that they
Oh,
see.
before you start,
Yeah.
we're going to get there. Guys, I hope Kyadondo can pay for this ad. Because it's like now she's going to release.
She's going to
info.
release
Take it
data.
away. Take it
Okay,
away.
but this is information that
Yeah.
I've actually gotten from several people. Most of them say Kyadondo is quite unique in such a way that people don't have specific positions where they have to sit. You sit anywhere. And this is a place where you bond with everyone else. If I met you at Kyadondo and I've seen you somewhere, or never seen you somewhere, you are on a table just alone or with the two of you, I'll join you.
Yeah.
We'll drink.
Yeah.
If I go to the counter to buy beer, I'll then buy the whole round for all of us because we're drinking.
Are you buying us a round this Saturday at Legends?
Absolutely.
I'm joking. You can go ahead.
So there's that bonding at Kyadondo that really doesn't happen maybe everywhere else. You know, when people come to watch rugby, we bond, we sing together, we laugh together, we drink together. For instance, when we come to the stands, it's my beer, it's Eddie's beer or whoever's beer. When we bring the cartons, when we bring the beers, we're like, Ani atalina. This one is not chilled, you know? And then everyone is drinking.
That's crazy, Caesar. Think
Look at
about
When
it.
we come out of the stands, we go to the fan park. We are all together. So people grow into the sport because they bond easily with whoever they found at Kyadondo, and you know, the fans they found there, the new fans that are coming in, and then you find that the fan numbers are actually growing by the day.
Yes.
Okay,
So,
that's you still have another one?
No, I just
You want
she
to
spoke
join
about.
Kyadondo?
And also,
No.
and
You
also
see,
That's
Ruben, when we have
membership.
people here, and
And also Kyadondo built new toilets. That's a very big point. My lord.
And that's not
Caesar is petty. Anyway, my issue here is not issue, but my focus is on, because I've seen these guys. They outwardly they look like they're having so much fun. You get on a match day, Eddie's there. They have vuvuzelas. They have a band playing. I mean, so
I'm waiting to see on Saturday. That band move played me, you guys.
So my question here is, okay,
And
go ahead.
as
See, I told you guys about
The
this
question
my
has got
scouts. Yes,
Ruben,
it's disappearing.
Anyway.
You're saying the band blew him away.
it blew me away. I didn't see it coming.
No. I've remembered. So the songs you guys sing during match day. Just tell us about the whole.
By the way, I wanted to
yeah.
ask about that. I don't know how you read my mind.
Bro, I'm
we had
bloody.
Eddie here.
Yeah.
Eddie was confusing us. Didn't want to tell us
I am,
if you
but it's
guys
natural.
have practice.
You have practice.
Do you guys have practice? Because there is a way it is so coordinated.
Then Eddie can be like,
Okay.
Heathens.
Yes.
Yeah.
And people
Then he mentions another team. They're like, I'm like, come on, these guys are
There is
crazy.
a song at King's Park they sang where all the guys at some point kept quiet and it was the babes only.
Singing.
This was like some real choir practice shit.
First sing for us, just work a cappella.
Don't sing it.
No, she can, some songs are actually kawa. So Sarah, if you don't mind, tuwe mwa cappella.
Muchere, munyama.
Like,
We can join you, sing a bit for like 20 seconds.
I'm putting surround sport.
about which one now? Okay, the particular one you're actually talking about is the Emi Bogoya.
I don't know if that's so. I don't know the name.
First check Caesar.
Sorry.
Emi Bogoya. Where the ladies come in, pick up
Yes, it's that one.
Sija kupika.
Eh,
Yeah, so the
So,
men answer.
Caesar, answer. We go. Caesar.
So we say pika, pika, pika.
Sija kupika.
Sarah, high five, man.
Oh my God.
Thank you, Ruben.
You guys.
This is crazy, man.
That was interesting. I don't know how we got there. We were
Yeah, I
talking
don't
about
know.
certain
No
things,
more,
but
man.
yeah. I think you all raise valid points about the marketability and the visibility. I just want to raise one thing that I don't think you guys have understood, or that I don't think you guys are trying to see. That even for companies like NBS, it is still a commercial venture, I should say. That for them to justify whatever they are doing, they also need the eyeballs, they also need the traction. For them to sell to the sponsors, they also need that. So it will be hard for them to want to go to Entebbe to probably show that game to...
Ruben, can I tell you what's up about that?
Let me first finish.
Finish.
The few people that are going to be in Entebbe rather than capture the biggest game in Uganda. I mean, we have missed such a very big opportunity to have Avengers, Black Pearls play at the same venue as KOBS and Heathens. Why? We need to understand that yes, rugby is growing, but women's rugby and men's rugby are growing in different levels. These ones are still babies. Perhaps you could say men's rugby is like 15 years old, 10 years old. Yeah. So we need to still carry women's rugby, create awareness. Many people don't even know the names of the teams. Many people don't even know these players. I'm happy I'm seeing now banter between the teams online for the big clubs in women's rugby. So the approach for the women's rugby needs to be different than the men's. The men's have the luxury of playing at the different home grounds and enjoying their home grounds because they have established something there. Women haven't yet as much, so they need the awareness as much as possible, especially with the big games. Anyway, that is my thought about that.
I wanted to ask you, Robert.
Yeah.
How do we then, off your head, what's the biggest source of Ugandan men's rugby players?
Biggest high school, ideally.
How do we do that? How do we break that barrier?
Yeah,
because
Caesar is actually wise, eh?
I want to ask
Finish. Caesar, finish. I promise,
How
finish.
do we break that barrier to go? Because there are girls' schools in this country, across all countries, all regions of this country. How do we convince a parent, an HM, a PTA to allow rugby? Because Mr. Valence tried it. I don't know how far it's going. When he
By the way, shout out to Mr. Busy Man. I hope you watch this podcast.
Yeah.
I respect you so much. I love you so much,
when
man.
he switched from college to Nabisosa, he tried bringing, and I want to believe he received some resistance, maybe from Hajat, from the headmistress, sorry, to maybe
Hajat,
parents.
yes.
That Hajat, we have our grievances, but she was in electoral commission now. It's okay. Anyway, so how do we break that barrier? Because I am telling you, when we get these girls at human beings at an early age can take up anything.
Yeah, sure.
Can take up anything.
Yeah.
Then how do we get that how we look at rugby, and for a lady who plays rugby, she's not ladylike, that kind of thing. Because there are schools that take Namagonga who are ladies and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Can they? Because they play other sports.
Bro,
they play
have you seen the
they play
Australia
hockey,
chicks who play
they play
sevens?
all those-
Some of those
you
chicks
see.
look hot,
So
bro.
I want to
It has
see
nothing to do
how
with rugby.
in your mind, in your opinion, how do we break that
Caesar is not
barrier?
focusing on me, you realize.
Who and who,
What's your problem?
Okay, it's okay, man.
and
Just go ahead. Don't mind me.
how do we tackle it in your own opinion?
Yeah.
Because I think that will also go ahead to get us more teams, to
Yeah.
get us a girls' schools league.
Yeah.
Oh my lord.
You see, that was actually one of my talking points when I was actually coming. One thing I also thought about discussing in this podcast was how do we get people to go out and scout out for girls to come and play. I think it also goes back to funding and our structures with the union. Because if the union comes out with a clear structure on how to scout for players in schools, then that funding is escalated down to the clubs. It's just the clubs to actually say, get out to Kyadondo and say, okay, we need 2 women's teams at the club. How you do it, when you do it, is totally up to you. And, try to work around the dynamics of the funding. How do we get our people to go out and scout for these players? Because then we can do it in the schools. It's just a matter of, putting your proposal right on the tables of the schools,
Yeah.
and then have, a few dynamics agreements here, and then, people start going to the schools and train the girls. And when you start training the girls, you then encourage them to join clubs at a later stage. Because when they start playing schools rugby, then they come down. Because they'll leave school at some point. And when they leave school, then they get into university or they're doing in technical school. Then they will have to join the clubs. You'll find them going to Kings Park, Legends, Kyadondo. And that's how we are going to grow the numbers. But again, it comes with funding and the structures. And then how we do it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
one thing I also wanted to discuss about women's rugby. Like I said, most of them are distracted because their life skills are actually at a low level. Most of them, the confidence level is actually very low. You find their communication level is skills of living with others. Like they cannot interact with their fellows. Their communication skills are so bad. We look at it as at a small scale, but when you get in depth with it, you find that actually communication is very key in the sport. Confidence is very key in the sport, because a player can have the skills, a player will attain the skills very well, but putting them on pitch is another thing. So we need also to enhance on their life skills. How do we integrate life skills in sport? That is also another topic for another day. But I know that is something that we can work around to enhance on the ability of these girls and then keep them in the sport.
Guys, who don't have had another better guest to speak about such?
Yeah.
Because I mean, Sarah is spot on. Guy, what I wanted to respond about Rubens, I remember when NBS Sport was coming on board, they looked at a sport that would give them traction amongst a certain target audience. And I think rugby is doing that. So the theme behind it, I remember I looked at every single tweet they put out. I read the presser. I wanted to look at this agreement and see where it's leading us. They wanted to grow with the sport. Now, here is my plea. If these guys want to grow with the sport, then I think women's rugby is the best shot at growing with the sport. Ruben, you get what I mean?
Yeah.
You get what I mean? Yeah. You see yourself get somewhere, you need someone to hold hands with. Women's rugby. NBS Sport, don't sleep on it.
Yeah, well, that's interesting. Okay,
let's talk about Lions Cup, man.
Yeah, we are going to Lions Cup, and one thing, I just want you guys to give me one statement. We're going to focus on the Avengers versus Black Pearls. What's your prediction?
Avengers, because really, me, Faith Nalunga's #1 fan, so I'm an Avengers fan. Namuga, sorry.
Why are you Faith Namuga's #1?
It started very deep. Hey, oh my lord. No, it really, I never lie. So it really started from, it started from a very bad side, but then I took up. Because of that, I started following her. I really follow her. So
I think we should have Faith Namuga sometime.
#1 fan. So I'm all about Avengers.
Faith Namuga.
Also,
we're giving a shout.
Black at Kings Park. But Kings Park, so Avengers.
I don't like Nugos.
I don't like.
You don't like Nugos?
Pirates and anything.
So guys, if there's any girl out there on Saturday, if you can give Caesar Nugos.
No, I don't. I'm too
Legends,
old for Nugos.
There's a prize from the Fat Cats. Just tag us, show us a clip, get it to us. And
Sarah, what's your prediction in that game?
I think Avengers will take it.
Oh, interesting. That's 2 for Avengers.
Which team does Samia Ikoru play for?
Apparently not.
Samia is not playing at the moment. She's coaching. You need to get updated, man.
Yeah, I should, man. I should.
Actually,
Big time.
Thunderbird.
Thunderbird?
Yeah. By blood.
Okay. I think
Thunderbirds will win the game.
No, Thunderbird is not playing in the game. Thunderbird is playing a legend. But my prediction for this game is, since it's an opener, I would think Black Pearls will win it because they have so much, I don't know, noise.
Wow.
Like no. What I meant was
just tell the truth. Just you support the rugby, chill. Tell the truth.
Anyway,
my boy has a buy in Boyogere, man.
Assured.
It's a flex.
So anyway,
Massa, shout out, man.
I want a t-shirt.
It's sad. It's really, really sad that I want to watch both the women's game and the men's game, and they're so far apart. but I am going to say that the Black Pearls are going to get that win.
But
it's
of
going
course.
to be a very tight game.
You already told us your allegiances. Anyway, okay. Lions Cup.
Lions Cup, guys. Let me start this off.
Yes, sir.
Guys, this is the biggest,
Yeah.
hottest, strongest, most ruthless, exciting,
Most salt.
most awaited game ever in the history, in the books of Ugandan rugby.
Especially
KOBS,
after
Kampala
that
Old
semi-final.
Boys Rugby Club versus the Kyadondo Heathens, the Platinum Credit Heathens. Guys, Sarah,
Yeah.
when you hear this fixture, what comes in your mind? What is your most vivid memory of these two clubs play against each other? And who are those players that always stand out?
When it comes to Heathens and codes, that's an overnight pressure. I sleep over it, I think about it the whole week.
You attend practice.
It's a not
for the
even
songs.
practice. It's a game that actually gives me
Chills.
not only chills but pressure. I would say pressure.
Yeah.
But I like the fact that our boys are resilient. They're always firm to the dot. Our boys, I mean Platinum Credit Heathens. I don't want to speak for the codes.
They are lucky with the coin.
Yes.
She said yes without realizing.
You also go to church that you get to win coin tosses.
Yeah, that would be there, but I want to tell you that the Heathens team is actually very firm, and we fight to the dot. We fight to the last whistle. So
That's true.
yeah, and for me, Heathens comes. I know, even when we are in the stands and we're contemplating whether we're winning or we're not winning, I know the boys behind there are like, okay, what are we going to tell our fans? What statement are we going to put across? Like for them to tell them, this is where we failed, this is what happened, this is what didn't go right. They are always thinking about what they're going to tell their fans. So for some reason, they put their bodies online and they're like, okay, let the fans appreciate that actually I died for the game. It just didn't work out. It was a bad day in office, but they will fight to the dot.
Sarah, when you've watched that fixture over time,
Yeah.
who are those players and are still playing that always stand out from your club?
There's Opa. Opa stands out for me every time the
That
game
guy
is
is
on.
crazy, man.
I have confidence when Aaron and Mike were playing. I know. Okay,
Yourself.
there's some kind of leadership on the pitch. There's some kind of bringing the team together and commanding the team. So Opa stands out for me most of the time. Michael, Aaron, and then I'll miss Mustafa on pitch because he commands a lot of respect and commands, teamwork on the pitch.
I put up a tweet where I was telling people to raise a monument near the Chadipo place of Mustafa.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think they should heavily consider it, like headgear, strapping.
Yeah, and of course every other player makes a difference on the pitch, but there are those outstanding players that when they are on pitch they will put the team together and we will get it there.
Yeah. Caesar, when you hear KOBS versus Heathens, what feelings are evoked within you?
What feelings are portrayed, bro?
Well, before I comment, I would want to go on air and really, really, really shout out to Alex Monroe. I've not gotten a chance ever since he retired.
Caesar.
And I've not gotten a chance ever since he retired. And I'm here at one of the most watched podcasts in the country. So, I mean, this is a chance. I would like to thank Alex for what he has done for the sport. Well, I don't think there's anyone who hates Alex in Ugandan rugby. I really don't think. And for what he has done for the country, for the sport, for schools, he coached my school, the only trophy that I ever won in 6 years.
What?
He
That's
coached
crazy.
us. He coached us then. He imparted knowledge that some people still use even now. Oh my God. I would like to thank him for what he has done for the sport. Back to the game.
Before you continue, Alex Monroe was your coach in 2009?
Yes.
When
he was.
Kasozi
He
won?
was him and Grace Lubega.
Oh, we
Yes.
still have a high school podcast pending. High
Ah,
school.
by
Yeah,
the
we
way,
really need that.
that one is crazy.
Need a
let's-
couple of weavers here, and
Yeah.
a couple of fumblers, and
Yeah.
a couple of I don't know what they call guys from Budo, but we'll see.
Just don't.
I promise, yes, that's it.
Continue with your monologue.
KOBS Heathens. Well, that's the one game.
From when you're a child, walk
The
us
one
through,
game.
Caesar, man.
You see now,
Make it vivid.
I've been on both sides of this game. I've been on both sides of this game, unfortunately, or rather fortunately. In high school, like I told you, we're being coached by Heathens, so we'd be released. Oh, God bless that HM. We'll be released to go and watch club games, and then we'll watch Heathens playing KOBS. And one of the vivid moments I'll never forget. And Heathens had a white center in our S6, S6, S5. Heathens had a white center. We were watching a game, KOBS Heathens. KOBS was still sponsored by, I think, UTL or DMAC. I don't remember.
Must have been
UTL.
UTL.
Adrian was playing, and Adrian, they passed the ball to Adrian and was running. That white center gave him, and he dropped the ball. I've never shouted in my life. Out there, I didn't know.
Did you watch that hit?
I didn't know later on that I would be crying for KOBS. But I've been on both sides, and I have moments. There's a time Victor cocks over just for Victor, and you're an old guy, you're forcing, they kick the ball to Cox, he stopped there. And I mean, that game is so important in my life.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Sarah.
Can you miss
I'm
your
like
wedding?
you.
Your own wedding?
Please. I'm like you. That game keeps me awake. I've not been. I have ways of dealing with it. I always watch. I've watched the 2 training sessions. That I'm supposed to go to the farm on Thursday. I have cancelled that. I have to watch the training session on Thursday. I need to calm myself down because our team is good. Our team is good, but so is Heathens. And no matter how bad our teams are, on that game, everyone shows up because we respect each other.
Yeah.
No one despises the other. No KOBS player often can enter a game saying, that Heathens is weak. Because we know that game. It's the most important game in the land. Yes, Pirates has won the league, but it's still the game they want to catch up to.
Pedigree,
It's
bro.
the most
It's international
pedigree-filled
farm.
game.
True.
And for me, Lions Cup, and it's just that we have issues here in rugby and everything, players going, not being professional. That game has had, over the years, it has had the potential of being the most important game in East African rugby because it has a lot going on it. The battles of Matayo. And man, I can't stop.
And you see, now,
so for me,
I just want
just something small. For me, this game on Saturday, also it has that backing from what happens in the semi-final.
Yeah.
If you watch the semi-final of Uganda Cup, any player who played that game, any player who will just attack the ref once in a while, will attack the coin, but even the dirty moves that were there in the game, like you. After that dirty move, you're trying to eye gouge me. Then you see guys tapping themselves. Because that was the most beautiful game I've watched the last 5 years. It was so full of respect, power. I can't wait for that game on Saturday. Because we have to revenge that coin nonsense. We can't allow it to go to the coin again.
This is coin nonsense.
Then I'm sure they also want to do. You guys want to do better. Especially because you've already lost against Pirates and you want to catch up to the league, and just know Saturday I'm going to be yeah. It was all,
they call high jump?
it was always steeple, what's that thing, pole vault.
Caesar, man.
But I'm going to
Caesar
be high for that game because if I'm sober for that game, I will not survive it. So I need to be extremely high to deal with the pressure. Thank you,
Joseph.
Guys, I'll never forget a gentleman who passed away, and I will always pay tribute to him, Peter Ofong. You see, I've watched KOBS Heathens games. I've listened to stories. I've heard. But Peter Ofong, I remember I had an interview with him, and Peter is this gent who made it very clear to me that games don't get any better. Stars are never unveiled like they are during the Lions Cup. So, Peter, wherever you are, man, big up, much respect. You taught me what this fixture means. I even get chills. Because, You see, I've watched this fixture since about 2015, and I mean, there's so much. Like you guys said, there's bloodshed, there's tries scored, stars are being born. I remember that's one of the games that led to Karim being unearthed crazy as that guy who was blistering pace, can score, beat his defender. I believe Saturday's game. Should we get to the part where it will be on?
We're going to get that. You can finish with what you're saying.
So, I believe for every rugby fan out there, it's not Sirugambo, man. It's real. It's going down. Saturday, Legends, 3 p.m. You are going to watch a game better than the Uganda Cup semi-final. I promise.
100%.
100%.
Yeah, it's been a minute since KOBS has actually gotten that win against Heathens. Heathens went off last season unbeaten. Then even the meeting in the semi-finals of the Uganda Cup that ended in a draw over full time and then extra time until the coin toss that Heathens won.
Yeah.
Still, they found a way of winning that as well. Sarah, where do you? I'm assuming you're giving Heathens that win. Where do you think Heathens will edge KOBS in that particular
Which
encounter?
areas of the game? Yeah.
I think our back is really doing good, and our scrums actually
Improving.
They're doing well. They're doing well.
Okay, yeah,
And
sure.
our kicks are also doing well. I don't want to say we have problems with our kicks. I want to believe that everyone on pitch has an assignment and they're actually up to their assignment. So I don't want to say there's anywhere we're actually crippling. We're actually doing good.
Okay.
We're ready for KOBS and we're about to take them on.
All right. So, gentlemen, since you're both KOBS passionate people.
No, I'm a fat cat, bro. I'm here as a fat cat's co-host, bro.
All right. So,
Caesar.
it's a case of vengeance on one side for KOBS having not won the semi-final of the Uganda Cup, and also just a case of pride. But also looking at it from a Heathens point of view, this is the first time in a while that Heathens did not start the league the way they normally do. So this is going to be an ultimate test. I know they got the win against Buffaloes at Kyadondo, but this is a much more stern test. What do you think is going to be? How do you think this game is going to go, and where do you think it's going to be won?
I have 5 pointers, and I'm going to tell them to you quickly, but in the right order of the number one is the highest. Okay, I don't know what they say in English. 5, 1, the park. I think this game is going to be won in the park. Whoever wins that first scrum down, I think is going to win. It's the one set piece, because I am not so sure about lineouts, but the one set piece I'm sure is going to tilt the dominance over is going to be on the park, and whoever shows up that day with a stronger, more organized park is winning that game. 1, 2. Number 9, the halfbacks. They are going to be very influential in this game, very influential, because then we will know if Heathens is mauled by KOBS, then it's up to Aaron. I think it's Aaron who plays 9. It's up to Aaron to secure their ball quickly out of the scrum down before their scrum down slips, and the reverse is true with Davis and Paul, whoever will be playing on number 9. Then number 3 is going to be on the kickers. The kickers are going to be, both teams are very good kickers. Very good kickers, and whichever kicker shows up that day will win that team, because I don't think this game is going to have very many tries, because everyone's defense, I think, is going to be on top. So the penalties that are given out, whoever is daring enough to kick from the center, from beyond the center, or I think will tilt over this game. Whoever comes with their kicking boots will win this game. Number 4, the fans. The fans will be very, very influential. Heathens has an issue with their fans, the chest and the chasers or whatever. So if they come and show that day
Trust
that
me,
we
these
are
guys
one,
may unite.
we are
may unite
when
on
they come
Saturday.
and that alone tilts the mindset of people. Are like, these guys are fighting. How come
But they are
they're all
supporting
singing?
still.
Yeah.
You get, and it
crazy.
will also push their players over. KOBS fans, once they come and they are ready to make noise, abuse each other and abuse the rest, and it's also going to be. But the biggest ever is going to be the mindset. Whoever comes
Mindset,
when they are ready for that game, because that game skills are.
Yeah.
By the way, once you come and you're ready,
You must come once.
you have to come wanting that game.
Yeah.
KOBS wants revenge. Heathens wants to show that the other one was a mishap. They want to show that the Pirates game was a blip in the matrix, and it's going to be one with the mind
Yeah.
and everything else I've told you. Thank you.
That
Ruben,
is
ask
one
me.
of the most top tier breakdowns I've had in a while in my conversations with rugby. Kudos to that.
Ask me.
Joseph, how are you? That's my question to you.
Man, guys, this is like my favorite podcast. Please don't, man. Don't, man. This is we spoke, man.
Okay. Oh yeah.
So,
Yeah. Anyway,
Joseph,
yeah.
thoughts on the game, thoughts where it will be won, and thoughts on what you're foreseeing for Saturday.
Guys, for the first time ever, I'll say very few words. This game will be won by a team that can score. Because the scrums may be a crazy contest. The lineouts may be crazy. The collisions will be crazy, powerful and all that. But who will score? If you cannot score, then you will not win the game. That's as simple as that. Because you remember the semi-final? Both teams were failing to score. So we couldn't tell who would win. So the team that will score will actually win the game. Then, again, it will come on to the squad selection and changes made. I believe. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Is it time to get Caesar on? Is it time to get Ruben off?
Yeah.
That kind of thing. Is Ruben, if you notice that he's slacking, perhaps he's getting injured, lethargic and all that. Those kind of decisions. Then, what else did you ask me, man?
What do you foresee for the weekend?
What do I
Just from
foresee?
the game itself, an entertainment point of view, and also in general, the fact that Legends is allowing the campuses to enter for free, and the fact that it's just
Very
KOBS
slick move,
versus
that one.
Slippery Ruben.
How are they doing that?
They have to have a valid national ID.
Valid campus ID.
Campus ID.
Sorry. Yeah,
So for the
campus
campuses
ID.
out there, anyone,
Chambo will
if
have
you're in
IDs.
any uni,
But we have campuses who are adults, you know.
doesn't matter, they have IDs.
Okay.
They have IDs.
If you're
They
a
have campus
university
IDs.
student and you have a valid university ID, present it at the Legends entrance. I guess that gates will be open as early as 10. So what I foresee, bruv, it's gonna be crazy. If you just meet a fat cat out there, give them raps, bro.
People on adult education at an advantage.
Yeah.
So what I foresee, man, I want to see Heathens. I mean, they're on the road. Let them come with a band. I want the vibe. I want it to be pumped. You get what I mean?
You're talking to the right person.
So tell Ruben likes.
That's what. Are you my spokesperson?
Also, Ruben, can I say something?
Yes.
I've always wanted to say, but it's very controversial, so I hope you don't mind. I find fault with Heathens players not warming up from the pitch they're going to play away.
Bro.
Especially Legends.
Why?
They never, I find big fault. It's a sport. It's a sign of respect. And they're going to be cameras. They should be here at Legends an hour before, but they don't. And then, okay, it's
Wait.
cool. They walk. Every time we are playing at Legends, Heathens, even if they're playing Rhinos, even whatever team they're playing, they will warm up from Chadi, then they will walk.
For a small.
By the time they reach, Robert, okay, whoever, the match commission is telling them go and kit up. Man, warm up and drills and everything. It's part of the sport.
You want to
find
see
it
them warm up?
disrespectful.
The
I find it
reason is
disrespectful.
they've warmed up.
Yes, I know. No, for them it works, but for the
For the
For the
fans.
camaraderie, for the love of the,
The
sport,
build-up.
general, for the build up. Imagine
I
now
understand what he's saying.
NBS is going to be there and it's only KOBS warming up. KOBS warming
You
up.
just see
KOBS
Konya
warming
walking
up.
in.
Then you just see Konya walking in with these people.
These
Then as soon
pros.
as they reach in their Kakona,
Just say with his boots in his hand.
Kakona, they will tell them go and kit up. Man, I find it disrespectful because they're the only club that do it. Everyone else goes early, apart from them. So I
What
want
of
to
guys who
believe-
arrive Rams? They arrive like.
You-
You know, I'm just banging jazz, man. Guys, chill,
I
relax.
think the point has been hit
Yeah.
because,
Yeah.
like you're saying, it's for the love of the sport. support
Yeah.
and the bonding, and even your fans want to see you on pitch warming up. They want to see a few drills here and there. They gain the confidence. Yeah.
You're stretching well.
Yeah.
It works really for this guy. When you understood it.
I think it's going to be an interesting one.
Yeah,
Me, I think I am keen to see the condition of the key players. I saw Joseph Aredo-Limpov at the game against Rams in Makerere. We have seen on social media Aaron Oforos getting some physio attention as well. So, and there are two players that are really key to the way their teams play. So I'm eager to see what condition will they be in. Is it a case of just being 60% or will they be perhaps 95%, because a player that has played for so long can never be 100. But that is very key for me. And personally, I'm going to align with Heathens for that day. I think they're going to win the game. No disrespect to the Kampala Old Boys, but I think that Heathens just knows how to find those wins, and they are still angry about that loss against Pirates.
Kings Park.
So they want to really go and ascend to the top and really compete with KOBS, because they know if they lose this game, catching up with KOBS is going to be very hard. Those are two losses in just about 3 games. It's not a pretty thing. So it's kind of a do or die.
It's crazy. So you're trying to say Heathens are the underdogs?
It kind of puts them in that position. I mean,
See,
the KOBS look like they have a resurgence. The KOBS have scored 136 points in 2 games. Yeah, they have 2 bonus point wins, and they look very focused and very fit, and very efficient. I saw their scrum on the weekend was very, very dominant. Like, Rams had nothing to say about, no answer for that. It puts Heathens in a very tricky position, an away game, and a loss you cannot avoid. You can't be in the title race and afford to have 2 losses even before the end of first round. It's bad business, in my opinion.
But I really don't think this game has an underdog. It has never had an underdog.
Rather, Caesar, you'd put it like, who has more to lose? So if I'm to make a case for KOBS, one, they are this team. I mean, they've been champions, and up until Heathens won the unbeaten, KOBS were champions. You get what I mean?
Yeah.
And it has always been between KOBS and Heathens.
KOBS and Heathens.
So, and you see, KOBS has had its rebuilding phase to a point whereby they now are supposed to yield. You get what I mean? You've seen the Kakulas come through, the Karims, the Osunas. You've seen the senior players, the Semwamis, the Chimboas, mentor all these players in these positions. So you believe the team is now gelled, yeah? And they should start reaping. So going into this game, you believe they want to get the fruits of their labor. Now, Heathens have just made their partner a gold sponsor. That's Platinum Credit.
Yeah.
They want to show Platinum Credit that, look here, we can
Made
get
the
here a
right
win
decision.
against our biggest fixture on the field. Then again, they have to prove to their fans that, look here, we are going to wipe those tears from Boyogere. Then they also have to play for their pride.
That's why that game is going to be hot.
So it's going to be crazy. And
What?
I remember KOBS social media, KOBS Twitter shared on their, they shared a bit of stats. And if you look at the statistics, this game has always been won by a close margin.
Close margin, yeah.
Very close margin. That's why I said any team that manages to get points on board. And like Caesar says, in these dominance and in these set pieces, dominance will also be key. So, yeah.
Yeah, so anyway, as we now try to wrap this up, I mean, it's been a very, very interesting conversation.
I promise,
Joseph,
this has been a crazy conversation. Huh?
Let's just try to get onto the other side of things. What's been popping on social media, and also just to get a little bit to know about our guests today. Maybe just to start with social media. What do you think has stood out for you on social media this particular week up to this point?
It's been basically people teaching each other about banter and the limits of banter. I mean, we saw a tweet by Michael. Michael said, guys, look here, there's a thin line between banter and disrespect, and how far it can hurt us. I mean, we put our bodies on the line, we come out to play. Yes, we can tolerate, but it definitely has an impact on us. Because I go back to my bed and I'm thinking, oh, this person said this to me, all because I'm playing rugby. Don't they know that I could actually also maybe afford to stand next to them in the stands? And you get that kind of thing. So, and above all, okay, well, there is been so much. Impis fans are riding on a high horse, coming off 2 wins. That's a plus for them. I'm looking at Ginger Hippos. They are manning the streets. You get what I mean?
Yeah.
They are manning the streets.
Some
They don't
elite
care.
Banter,
It's
some
crazy.
really
It's
elite
crazy.
banter.
Whether they are winning or not,
Yeah.
they are manning the streets.
They put out something that was so amazing. That puzzle was some different kind of content that we have seen in Uganda rugby. And once you solve that puzzle, it was basically just giving information about the game between them and Pirates in Ginger. It was amazing.
Oh, I haven't seen that.
Creativity, you need to check it out.
I need to check it out.
It's
Is it on the
amazing.
fans? Hippos fans?
Yeah, they are really so creative. They are taking time to curate their content.
Yeah, but again,
yeah,
we appreciate what they're doing. However, I want us to be quite thoughtful on the fact that consistency is what gets you over. Hippos, don't get us accustomed to this and then lose it. You get what I mean? Keep it burning, keep it going.
Rhinos a few years ago.
Rhinos, they shared scrum, engine pistons, burning. And man, before we know it, Rhinos is silent. But they have mad artwork though, yeah? Then from Pirates, as usual, their fans, they have a couple of fans. And Pirates want to host your fans here so that they can talk to us how they got to love you guys. Because it looks like there is a trick behind, something like that. So I'm looking around clubs. Rams, they have a few fans, like 3 on Twitter, something. Then,
Joseph, do you have anything you'd like to ask our guests about them?
Oh my lord.
Yeah, I should have asked this earlier. Your mother.
Yeah.
Would you interest your kids in playing rugby? And what do you think about your kids playing rugby?
First, as my son plays rugby.
Oh, that's amazing, man.
Interesting.
Ruben, you should have asked this.
My son goes to Smack Hall.
Yes.
Lugazi.
Yes, St. Mary's College, Lugazi.
Yes. And there's rugby. They play rugby.
That's crazy.
Although on a small scale, and it's something I was advocating on our parents group that actually
Yes.
can you enhance on this sport? So because so many kids want to play the sport, and the opportunity is actually very small. So can you enhance on the ability for them to play the sport? And have it on? He started playing tag at Kyadondo when Christine was training them. Christine Chizito.
That lady.
So right now he's in senior 2. So he's been playing, he's been coming around during holidays. Kai does the coaching during tag rugby.
That's smart.
And then he's gotten on to married touch, then go to contact. So he's there.
Is there?
He's learning.
Yeah.
Man, guys, I think I've enjoyed this podcast so much. Guys, if you're out there and you want to come and tell us your rugby story, you have something to share. Don't feel shy. Man, my heart is just bursting with joy.
Anyway, I wanted to also ask. Yes?
I promise, just one last thing. Sarah, have you watched any international rugby? Countries?
Uganda, yeah.
Countries?
Yeah.
Probably international that are probably going to play in the World Cup.
I've watched some.
Which country
some
do you
rugby.
feel like you're close to? Say it.
Australia.
Wow! Wow! That's crazy. Why?
Oh, I've been watching a number of their games. I think they have good rugby.
I do believe it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Also, I think my last question to you would be, you're a married lady.
Yeah.
How do you balance your social life, rugby, and your family time?
First and foremost, I think I have a husband who really appreciates everything I appreciate. When I say I love this, he's actually supportive. He's like, okay, you love it, go for it. So when he got to know that I am very passionate about rugby, first of all, he was so worried. Started wondering who has taken her to rugby. Why rugby? And then you are there whole weekend.
Singing.
Then travels and those things. But when he realized it was just actually out of passion, and then my brothers, like I said, were playing rugby. So he knew it was a family thing. He knew it was something that was coming out of passion. Then of course I introduced him to Eddie, who they actually bonded and became brothers. It's like, okay, whenever you are at rugby, you have Eddie and your other friends. So it's safe for me. I balance it in such a way that I want to appreciate myself that my kids have actually grown, they're of age. During school time, they are all away. I have only 2 children. So during school time, they are away. So So we're just the two of us. I
You're
have all
looking
the
for
time.
plot, eh?
Yeah, I have all the time to go and watch rugby.
Okay.
It's a trip. I'm there, and he knows I go passionately about the sport. And
That's
it's
crazy,
just
man.
that.
Caesar,
That's
Caesar
nice.
should ask our guest something, man.
Who, me?
Yeah, you have anything for our
You want me
guest?
to ask her?
You have anything for our guest? Just in case you do. Just in case you do.
No, I maybe. How do I bring this out?
You know, you're a guest as well.
Yeah, I
She'll ask-
am, but I'm
she'll
going to
get
ask.
to ask you as
I'm
well.
going to.
Caesar, I'll also ask you
I
a
want to
question.
interest myself in your organization, Kyadondo, the actual Kyadondo. I every now and then I get increasingly amazed.
Admiration?
No, I get amazed by how they do their things. Just this last week about Eddie and your membership and okay, but the issues that you're having, but the whole membership and what it does and man, I have workmates who don't watch rugby, but they always are looking forward to go to Kyadondo on Friday, and I want to know, how do you guys do that? How do you get people to get convinced to come to Kyadondo comfortably? And what are the challenges? It might be a very long question.
Yeah.
What challenges have you faced in the sense that to get to that level of people are being comfortable? Because when I was growing up, Kyadondo was a no-go area, and then Alex came and trained us, and I started going to Kyadondo. But then when we left school, I realized I do not fit. But my dear, my classmates frequent Kyadondo more than they even come to Legends where we grew up. So I want to know what caused that shift. What informed that shift, because clearly it's not Negos like Kings Park. So I don't know. It intrigues me every now and then. I get something to know about Kyadondo and I get amazed.
You guys put
Yet
a
we
love
always
portion
thought
at the
we
gates.
always thought Kyadondo
That
was a
people
place
fall in
for
love with the place.
local people.
Yeah.
But now most people want to be at Kyadondo.
Caesar has
Yeah.
elitism, no?
Now I think
A
it,
bit.
it drives from way back. You see, the initial crowd of Kyadondo was Naguru Nakawa, because you can even tell most of the players are actually Naguru Nakawa. And when the sport started growing, that is where people like come and watch their kids, watch fellow colleagues, you know. And then it started growing from that angle. So, and then when you find people from Naguru and Nakawa, that big community of people coming down to Kyadondo, we would bond, you know, talk about our community, talk about our livelihood, talk about, you know, a few things that were happening within our communities. We had like those small centers where people would go and eat food, you know, kubejas on Yoka bench. So from there it delved down to Kyadondo, and that's how the numbers kept on growing. And then of course, this is not Kalango, everyone started laughing the folk like Michael. Yeah, so you find that people are leaving offices to come and have.
They even order, by the way, lately.
People are living, you know, wherever they are, coming from up country,
Come
you know,
and eat
people are
ribs.
working up country, but they're like, okay, I have to be at Kyadondo by 4. I have to do these ribs, I have to do this pork.
It's
So
crazy.
that's how the numbers kept on growing. And then the dynamic of that friendship and bonding. You know, like I said, it's a place you come to, you don't know me, I don't know you, we're sitting on the same table, we'll drink. Just start from there. As opposed to other places that I don't want to mention. You go as your team is your team.
Cool.
And then when you booked your table, it's where you sit.
Yeah.
So when you find people sitting on where you usually sit,
You look at them like,
you tell the waiter is like,
tell this to
Hala,
go
hala.
away. What are you doing here? Go away.
Anyway,
Yeah.
Thank you.
in about a few seconds, I want to just ask you two things. One, what are your thoughts about England in the Six Nations and the World Cup this year?
Keeping in mind both of your England fans.
Yeah, I know.
I'm aware.
I'm actually waiting to be surprised. I'm not so sure about the both. Both because made very many changes, and I've not been able. I started paying premium to watch Northern Hemisphere rugby, but I haven't yet started watching it. So I don't know most of the players that he has selected. So I'm waiting to be amazed. I still believe our chances are very low with the World Cup because I believe we made a mistake chasing a coach a year to the World, not even a year, months to the World Cup.
And it will be interesting that we might meet him in the quarterfinals.
Yeah, I believe it
So,
was a very big mistake.
he's now
I
coaching
think he
your team,
needed to
Australia,
leave,
the former
but he
England
needed
coach.
to leave after the World Cup.
Yeah. And secondly, do you have any plans for Valentine's?
Oh well, I will not be in the country, so I don't.
You're taking a whole trip outside the country.
Cool.
No, I will just not be in the country. I'll be coming back to the country, so I'll have jet lag.
Yeah.
I won't have any plans for.
Anyway,
I'm
guys,
not going
this
that
has
far.
been very, very interesting from very, very different angles, and I appreciate all of you guys coming here. I think it has become a song, but we always tell guys, please subscribe to the YouTube channel. So many videos there, shorts and the full videos. Engage with us on social media. Let us know what you think about our content. Let us know what you want us to talk about as well. And anywhere you find a fat cat, have a conversation with him. We are very, very friendly, very approachable people. Otherwise, thanks for being a part of this, and we shall see you next week. Cheers.
Podcast Sports Crazy.